Welcome back, True Seeker. I just did a longer live stream talking about the significance of the Jesuits and LGBTQT movement. And in that stream, I started reminiscing about when I was in high school and the Matthew Shepard story broke, which was a really big story at the time and got people really thinking about homosexuality maybe for the first time. And if there really was this hateful movement towards homosexuals. Matthew Shepard was a young man who was beaten to death reportedly in Laramie, Wyoming, October 6th, 1998. He didn't die the day of the beating, but he died 6 days later, October 12th, in the story that was told to the public. And so I thought I'd go back and look at this because I was thinking about the name Matthew Shepard, and I thought that's a very biblical name when you think about it. Matthew Shepard. Matthew, the first book of Genesis. So many references to shepherds in the Bible. Notice that from the day he was beaten to his birthday, which was December 1st, 76, he was 21 years old, nearly 22 at the time of the beating. But from the day he was beaten to his birthday was 56 days. And again, I should have looked at this in real time, but I was just doing a video on the significance of 56 in what gets presented to us in the news about homosexuality. Whatever the latest, story is, just so often the 56 is there. So lo and behold, Matthew Shepard was beaten 56 days before his birthday. And in Gematria, if you're new here, Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. You learn this code, you see how the Jesuits gave us the language, the calendar, and they sync it up ritualistically every day to present the news that they do to us. So if there really was a Matthew Shepard and he really was beaten to death, I'm telling you, it had a lot to do with this gang right here. Not to mention, he was beaten to death on the day, leaving 86 days left in the year. In addition to blood sacrifice and human sacrifice equaling 86, Jesuits, the plural's 86. But very biblical number 56. Abrahamic's 56, the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, that all have their own take on homosexuality. And it's mostly forbidden because all those religions are based in the Torah. Starts with Adam and Eve, who had 56 children. But again, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, in English, sodomy. But, of course, Matthew, the first book of the gospel, the story of Jesus, so just biblical name Matthew, and Shepard, again, just a word that's used throughout the Bible. And, again, the Society of Jesus, if you're not familiar with them, this is their logo. IHS with the Templar cross. IHS stands for Isus Hominum Salvator. The three nails represent Triclavianism, the belief of how Jesus was crucified. But the IHS for Isus Hominum Salvator, notice in Gematria that equals 85, like his full name, Matthew Wayne Shepard. And when you run it in reverse, his name's 95, like how the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses. And recognized by Rome on September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year. Tonight's the night of a Yankees game. I'll just bring up Garrett Cole. Remember, when he made his debut with the Yankees last year, his first game with the Yankees, he picked up his 95th career win after being signed by the Yankees on the 95th day of his age in the offseason. And Fauci threw out the first pitch of that game, the Jesuit, the IHS gang, and Fauci equals 95. And again, this stuff's not an accident. These are rituals. So he had the right encoding in his name for a Jesuit ritual, the exact perfect distance from his birthday. And with regards to, again, the Templar cross and the Jesuit logo, the word Templar is 85. Remember, 9/11 was a major Jesuit Templar ritual. That's why we invaded Afghanistan in a new crusades on the day leaving 85 days left in the year. And keep in mind, he was 21 years old, right? Jesuit 21, Sunday 21, Bible 21. This story became real big just before the turn of the 21st century. And for young people like me, I was in high school when this happened. And I would have just barely been 15 years old when this happened. I turned 15 July 21st, 1998. This happened right after that. So I think I was either a sophomore. Yeah, I was a or maybe I was a junior in high school that year. Or no, sophomore. I was a sophomore. Sophomore in high school. And, but yeah, I mean, this was just a big story. And again, I don't think really anybody in my group growing up had really thought much about sexuality or homosexuality until this story came. I mean, this story really put homosexuality on the map. And then right behind that came the Bush administration, and they were very opposed to homosexuality. And it became a big issue all of a sudden. It wasn't so much the issue until this Matthew Shepard story, at least not for my generation. But then that's how it became part of the things in our minds that are put out there by the media and the mainstream. But here's what's interesting. Wyoming has the gematria of 106, right? This happened in Laramie, Wyoming on 10/6. And what I've always explained 106 as is the prophecy number. And what makes this all the more interesting is that it happened in 98, and it happened in Wyoming, the 44th state. We've been talking a lot about Wyoming, the 44th state, in the time of small talk. Gabby Petito, Gabby talk, Petito small. Contrived Jesuit propaganda, as we've been exposing. But the word prophet is 98 and 44, right? This happens in the 44th state, Wyoming, in the year 98, on 10/6. And in light of him being 21 at the time and just before the turn of the 21st century, a century that's had a very big focus on homosexuality, October 6th, the day of his beating, that was the day the Supreme Court essentially ruled for equality for homosexuals, and then, everybody could get married and all that. And honestly, I don't have any problem with that. I don't see why we should be infringing on anybody's rights and liberties. My thing that I'm saying is there is a gang that's actively getting people to think about homosexuality. Again, for anyone who's listened to me long enough, I used to have medical marijuana delivery business, and more than one of my customers was homosexual. Whatever the gay thing is called, Grindr. For the Seattle area, when I had that business, there was a shared category on there. Gets my weed from Zachary. I actually was getting gay customers who needed medical weed through Grindr back when I was doing this. But I think the guy who created the category, his name was Anthony, and again, he was always telling me, he's like, man, you don't know how many guys are experimenting. He's like, this is the golden age of being a homosexual. And every time he'd need to deliver, he's like, if you ever want me to be your first, I'm here. And I was just like, I was listening. I was not listening to what he was saying in terms of like, oh, maybe Anthony will be my first. I was listening to him in terms of like, I bet he's probably telling the truth about a lot of guys wanting to experiment. And I was just thinking it's just because it's been so normalized in society. Then this curiosity is created. Oh, it's just maybe I should try it out. Just everyone just going along with what's in the programming. And again, if people want to be gay and they get pleasure from that, then more power to them. But at the same time, are they being influenced by something that's pure, that has their best intentions in heart, or are they being steered this way for a reason? And again, I just talked about this to greater extent in the last stream. If you want to check that out, you can only say so much without getting taken down and censored. But again, just 56 days from his birthday. What are the odds, And again, Matthew Shepard. And with the prophecy thing, if you're not getting what I'm saying, again, I'm just saying that they're kind of projecting dead at 21, the 21st century, this major focus on homosexuality. I mean, look at where we are. Here's a little more than 20 years after Matthew Shepard. This is today's headline, October 5th, one day before the Matthew Shepard anniversary. Tomorrow will be the 23-year anniversary of his beating. And, here it is, right on the eve of it. A Florida teen makes history as her high school's first trans homecoming queen. So, was the Matthew Shepard story, was it really introduced to us so that we wouldn't have hatred towards homosexuals? Because again, the point I'm making is I don't feel like anyone in my generation had that at all. We did use the word fag all the time, but it wasn't because we hated homosexuals. It's just because we grew up with the word fag. And again, words can take on different meanings. Fags can mean cigarettes, right? So I don't know how many homosexuals in the 90s were offended by people using the word fag because they probably understood they're not really talking about me. That's just like the thing you don't want to be. But anyway, Isn't it amazing, though? I mean, again, you guys, how can all this be a coincidence? Again, the transgender person out there who keeps making videos critiquing me and calling me mentally ill for showing the patterns of 56 and transgender news. What do you say about this? Is this a coincidence, too? Is this more sign of mental illness? I'm just seeing the patterns, they said. I'm just looking to see that pattern. It's just like, what are the odds that this is possible over and over? I mean, did I make it so that Matthew Shepard was beaten, half to death 56 days from his birthday? And who am I saying is responsible for this? If you care so much about your community, shouldn't you be worried about this? What if I'm right? What if I'm not crazy and I'm right? On the day leaving 86 days left in the year? A guy that ends up dead, human sacrifice 86, blood sacrifice 86 to get rid of 86. Remember last year I said watch out for the big celebrity death coming on October 6th? Who'd end up being? It ended up being Eddie Van Halen, the guitar player, right? He did the tapping sound, Eddie Van Halen, tapping 106, dead on 10/6. His brother was 67 at the time of his death. Blood sacrifice 6786, human sacrifice 6786. You guys keep asking me why all the TikTok stars keep dying at 19. I already told you this many times months ago. It's like my lessons don't stick in your head. 67's the 19th prime number. All these dead TikTokers at 19. Don't think that's an accident. So, leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Keep it short and sweet. And until next time.